2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Purlwise Podcast, knitting all day, let's look at it together. Purlwise Podcast, stitch by stitch, we can make whatever. Stitch by stitch, it's made by your friend Claire.
Okay, attempt number 3. Hi, this is Purlwise. My name's Claire. This is the place where I talk about my knitting and sometimes my sewing and sometimes my spinning. I don't know. I just talk about the things that I'm making. And I'm feeling rusty because it's been a while. What else should I say? I live in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. I used to be able to say I was a student, and now I've been a student for so much of my life that when I'm not, I struggle to define myself. But right now I work as a hairdresser, and I don't think I've talked about this here before, or I know I haven't. I also right now work at a fabric store here in Montreal. So yeah, that's new, and I guess I'll have some fabric related things hopefully that we'll get to. So yeah, new development in my life. Well, I don't know. It's been on and off since April that I've been working there. So anyways, that's what I do and where I live. And yeah, so just in case you are new here, that's a little bit about me. I don't tend to talk about too much personal stuff on here. And that's just honestly for lack of time. Because usually when I finally sit down to do this, I have so much stuff to show. And only so much human energy. So yeah, I guess I'll just start. I have 4 finished objects today. Not so many whips, and then hopefully, yeah, some sewing that we can get to. Sorry, I feel like my chair is creaky. So, first finished thing is I even made notes for once in my life. My neighbors are loud. This is going great. Okay, whatever. Okay. Well, that was really long. First finished thing is my Dappled Lace Raglan by James N. Watts. And I've shown this, I can't remember where this was at last time. I can't remember when I started this. I have to go back to see. But I had intended to take this on my trip to BC with me in June, and ended up doing a lot of it before and then not finishing it while on that trip because I wasn't sure about the length, I think. I don't remember. Anyways, it's done now. And it's really nice. It's knit in Pearl Soho Santalina in the color Purple Moor. And I'll show you. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. I think I went back and forth on the sleeve length a bit. I had intended actually to make the sleeves longer. And then I just didn't like the proportions. It just felt like, yeah, I've been thinking more about I always think about the proportions of things, but like how much skin is showing can sometimes trip me up. Like it just wasn't showing enough skin for what it was. And especially with where I like to make things cropped. I just found that, like, I think it's often like the distance from the sleeve, the end of the sleeve, to the bottom of the shirt can be like a tricky thing to get balanced. So yeah, I had knit them, maybe, I can't even remember, but I'm like, maybe I'm thinking of my rib lace raglan. But yeah, in the end, I think I did maybe like an inch of sleeve before binding off. I just did a regular, I think I did a bind off in pattern. And I did add the little I-cord neckline to this. It was so long ago that I finished it. I definitely let it languish for a little bit because I was frustrated for some reason that I can't remember. And then I finished it, and it's good, and it blocked out really nicely. I think I was worried that it wouldn't have enough ease. And I do remember talking about having used the wrong needle size. Like I'd swatched with 3.5, I think, and then I looked in my knitting and there was a 3.25 needle in it. There's like a fluff flying around. And I solved the mystery, which is that my 3.25 millimeter needle tips and my 3.5 millimeter needle tips were mixed up. So yeah, I had a set that was, it was two sets of mismatched needles. So I think probably the right size, whatever it was on the right hand needle, so it was okay. So I think I did knit it at the right gauge. And yeah, in the end, after blocking, I'm very happy with the ease that I got. Sorry, lots of standing up and sitting down. What else? I did the neck shaping. There's optional neck shaping, which just gives you a little bit of extra at the back. Although, to be honest, I don't know which side is supposed to be the front. There's like a little wedge of sort of solid fabric that happens, and I can't remember if that's the front or the back. I think it's the front. Yeah, so I did that. If I can't tell, then maybe it didn't make a ton of difference, but whatever. Yeah, that's the dappled lace raglan. And the only note that I had was that I did the optional neck shaping. I will say I haven't worn it a ton, which is too bad. I just don't have any bottoms that I particularly like. Like, I don't wear purple a ton. I mean, I'm trying to wear purple more. And I just don't have any, like, I thought that I wouldn't like this as an outfit. But actually maybe I do. So it's a bit of a shame that I didn't wear it more. I'll talk about these shorts later because I made them too. But yeah, anyways, maybe it'll get some fall wear. We'll see. I definitely didn't wear, like, I have now 3 shirts knit in Santalina. This one, the rib lace raglan, and the marigold tee, all of which I've shown on here. And I will say that in the summer, they're not the things that I reach for first. And I also have the rib lace raglan knit in that Trailhead Yarns Tencel, I think. And yeah, they're definitely, I just don't reach for them first, which is too bad. I don't know what that is. I'm definitely like a just regular, I wear a lot of dresses in the summer and just like a t-shirt. Like I have a lot of band shirts that I like cut off, and that is like what I feel most comfortable in. It was, I will say, a very hot summer, so maybe these just weren't that appealing. And that's fine. And I'm honestly kind of warm right now, which maybe I might need to open the door. But yeah, that's this. My next finished object, I don't think I showed on here at all. But now they're done, so surprise. It's just a pair of socks. 2 of them. 2 whole socks. These are the 4 Forest socks, also by Knittel Duraco. I had knit the pattern, the donkey cardigan socks, which I think I showed on my last video, and then was like, I could do another pattern by them. I bought a few of them. So, yeah, they're really pretty. So they just have this like slip stitch, sort of broken rib slip stitch texture, and then these like traveling, I think it's called traveling stitches, at the top, which are supposed to look like a forest. And I definitely, I don't know if you can tell, I messed up the chart for sure. I was knitting these, I don't remember which one I finished first, but I was knitting these at my birthday, so yeah, early April. I went to a cabin with some friends, and I think the chart, I'm pretty sure I messed up the chart on both of these, but so yeah, I knit one of these I remember working on a lot at the cabin, and then the other one I worked on and nearly finished when camping this summer in July. So yeah, the yarn is Emily C. Gillies that I bought. I need to I realized that I'd woven in the end on the outside when I got these out, so I'm going to deal with that later. But the yarn is Emily C. Gillies. I don't remember what the merino sock, that's what it's called. And the colorway was called Successy, like success and sexy together. I don't like it. But I bought this in like 2021, I think. So I'm glad to have used it now. It wasn't my favorite to knit with. I don't love that kind of superwash merino base. So, it's really hard because the yarn that I used for the donkey cardigan socks, the Urso sock yarn, it's like a BFL non-superwash with nylon. I just feel like I loved that so much, and I'm just like trying to find something similar, or I should just order from Urso probably. So that was my next finished object. Not a huge amount to say about that, but glad to have gotten that out of stash. What should I do next? Okay, I'll show you this thing. I had talked about, did I show you this yarn? I don't remember. I think I didn't. I had talked about wanting to spin up this braid. Okay, I'll just yeah, I talked about wanting to spin up this braid next. I think when I'd bought 2 braids of Akara yarn, and I think I showed the other one spun up on video, and then talked about wanting to spin up this one, which the colorway was called Oil Slick. And this is their Whiteface Woodland fiber, Akara's Whiteface Woodland in the colorway Oil Slick. And I spun up the yarn itself when I had COVID. And maybe I'll put a picture of the braid here. And I think, yeah, I did take a picture of the yarn prior to knitting it up. So that's this. So yeah, I spun it up when I had COVID. So it's definitely not, I mean, I just was like trying to not hate my life. So I was just sort of spinning however. And it came out to about a sport, I would say, maybe I think it's a sport. And I decided to make it into a handspun harlow hat. And I think that this was inspired by Madison of the Madison Montees podcast, who had made a handspun harlow hat, and I loved it. So I ended up having to play with this always happens with hats with me, is that I'm like, I think this is the size I need, and I cast on and knit for a bit, and usually I'm like, no, and I have to change it. So that's what happened this time. I ended up making the smallest size on 3mm needles, and oops, I wove in my ends, but I didn't snip them. Yeah, I made the smallest size, 3mm needles. I really was like, I could figure this pattern out on my own, but I just was like tired and didn't feel like it, so I bought the pattern. You're welcome, Andrew Mowry. And yeah, I knit a lot of this again while camping, this time on a trip with my mom. So it ended up really long. So definitely one thing about brioche that I like forgot is that it grows so much. And it was hard to decide when to end this. And I was kind of, when I started, I was worried I wouldn't have enough yarn. And then I ended up having a bit of leftover. I don't know where it is, but it turned out really long. So I kind of, yeah, I turned up the brim while it was blocking. So that's why it's lumpy. But initially when I had finished it before blocking, I had folded it like here, and I was like, oh, that's good. That'll be like a good hat size, like one fold. And it's just like, I mean, maybe some people wear their hats this tall, but I don't tend to. I think in a perfect world, I mean, maybe I could do like this. I don't know. Remains to be seen how much I'll fold it up. Oh, that's not so bad. I do like the idea of the thick brim. Yeah, it's cute. And I really wanted to have this, like, because I knit this hot pink section, and I was worried it was going to get lost in the fold. So, oh, this is good. So I had it double folded before, but maybe I'll wear it like this. So, I don't know. I at first was like, why would I want such a crazy hat? But I think it could be fun. It's like a little bit crooked. Anyways, this is what it looks like on. I haven't worn a toque in a really long time. So yeah, that was really fun to do. I really like the I really like the flow of brioche. I find it really like meditative, and it was really nice to just knit like a big tube. And yeah, I prefer it with the decreases like this, like with the, oh no, I'm gonna have wrecked my hair. Like with the line, that like decrease line on the top instead of the like gap. So I turned it this way. Anyways, yeah, that's my handspun hat, and I can definitely see myself knitting more of these with handspun. I think it's like a really nice thing to do with a single skein of handspun. So yeah, this is another way of wearing it, which I kind of don't love a hat that is like totally tight to my head, mostly because I have fear that the back of my head is flat. That like it's not something I should worry about. Shouldn't be my problem, but I've made it my problem. Anyways, yeah, I can envision myself doing this again in the future. And it was so fun that, I don't know, I've just kind of been at a bit of a, I don't know, I'm kind of stalled in my spinning. But to have such a nice like project from start to finish, like if this is all I did with spinning, I would be happy. So yeah, that's the Harlow hat. Uh-oh, I'm getting texts. I think I will change into my next finished object. Okay, I've changed and I've opened the door, so sorry if there's noise. Yeah, I finished my sheep camp. Ta-da! There, full 360 for you. I mean, I feel like it's unlikely that anyone would notice this, but if you are noticing that it looks different from last time, it's because I restarted. Completely restarted. And I just finished it yesterday. Today is Labor Day, Monday, September 2nd, and the Sibling Energy Cal, which I was trying very hard to participate in, finished today, or is finishing today, and I finished it just in time. Yeah, so I really thought I wouldn't, because I did completely restart. So where should I start with this? Okay, first of all, it is knit in, it's a sheep camp sweater by Jennifer Berg. It's knit in Durarum Natura Gilead, and some handspun that I made with fiber from Crux Fibers. The majority of it is like it was a Jacob Dorset mix that I got from Crux Fibers, I think last fall. And it was one of my first, sort of successful spins. I've talked about it in the past. But here's a picture of the fiber, in case you're interested. I always like seeing the before and after. Maybe a picture of the yarn, I don't know. I'll throw whatever I have up here. Yeah. And I have made a lot of mods. So, first one being, it's knit at a larger gauge. So the pattern is written for sport DK, I think DK. And this, I was trying to match this handspun, which honestly is like a heavy worsted, I would say. But I feel like it goes okay with the Gilead, which is nice. So the first version that I started, that I showed the yoke of, I think last podcast, pretty sure. I think I was knitting size 5 to hopefully get something that fit me. Anyways, it was too big. And this one, I would say, still a little too big. But what I ended up knitting was something between a 3 and a 4. So I was wearing that size 5. I'd gotten all the way to splitting for sleeves, and I think I was knitting on the body, and I put it on and I was like, it's just too much. There was just too much fabric. Like, this is a bit ripply and like bubbly, but it was even more so. And at the time I was wearing it, and I like pinched out like 2 motifs, and I was like, that feels better. Feels like it would fit. Which now I'm doing that again, and it seems like that would fit better. So yeah, it's okay. You live and you learn. So that was the first thing, is that I decided to cast on. So somewhere between, I think I have 26 chart repeats, which put me between the 3 and the 4. So I think I cast on for the 3, and then I just had to increase a few stitches before I started the charts, to get it to a place where I had the 26 repeats. Okay, that was the first modification. The second is that, I hope I remember all of these things. So the second is that I cast on before, like I cast on without the collar. So I cast on here, and I eliminated some of the first few rows of the chart. So there is quite a big section at the top of the chart, as written, that of the main color. And I was looking at the sample and looking at it on me, and just proportions wise, like it felt like in the large sizes the yoke was like really far down, and I didn't want that. So I did cast on and sort of do the increases here more rapidly. And yeah, I mean, there's more to say about that. I should have done at least like 2 plain rows before I started increasing, because it made it complicated later to pick up and knit this collar. But it's okay. There's some areas that I would like to I think I'd like to go back around and sort of tidy up just with some yarn. But yeah, it's fine. It worked out fine. It was just like a bit frustrating. Okay. So next mods, I guess I'll just talk about the collar while I'm up here. The collar, as written for the largest sizes, is quite wide, and I went back and forth on what to do about that. It does have a rolled edge, which I really liked the look of, but it meant that there was no real structure in the collar, and it was sitting pretty wide on me. Like, it was probably sitting out here where this color work starts. Like, my bra wasn't showing, which is good. So my bra straps are like here. It was just like showing a lot of skin at the top, which I thought looked nice. I didn't hate that, but I mean, this is my Rhinebeck sweater, I should say. I'm going to Rhinebeck this year for the first time. And myself and my 2 knitting friends, Rudy and Kay, have knit the sheep camp. So we were already knitting the sheep camp to match. And then the Sibling Energy Cal happened. So we joined in for that. Or I did, at least. Rudy had already finished theirs. But Kay, I think, did theirs within the Cal time frame. Anyways, so where was I going with this? Right. I liked the open neckline. Looked nice, especially with the like little outfit I have planned for Rhinebeck. But I tried it on over a t-shirt and I didn't like that so much. It just, like, the way, like, there wasn't enough room for t-shirt sleeves really under it, so it would like make it bunch up, and then it was all like bunchy here. It's just hard to make a t-shirt sit nicely under it, and I just figured that at Rhinebeck it's very likely to be warm, and I'll want to be wearing a t-shirt and not just like nothing under this. So that is why I ended up going in and picking up. I had at first tried to try to do a rolled neck, but like smaller, and it just looked bad. Because I picked up less stitches and tried to like bring the neckline in, and that just like didn't work, going from stockinette to stockinette to add that like roll. Anyways, it just looked bad. So I ended up doing 2x2 rib to match all the other edges. And I don't think I have a sweater with 2x2 ribbing, so I was like, oh, that'll be nice. And I think I picked up 6 on every 7 stitches, about that, to get this neckline. And I just did a regular bind off everywhere, and I'm really happy with it. I like how it sits. See in the back. I did also do an extra set of short rows, I will say. So that's that. And then continuing down in terms of mods, I know Mackenzie of M to the Third and Sibling Energy Podcast talked about this. She's done this with other sweaters, I think, too, moving, because it's common if you have a chest to have a bit more like tissue in the front of your body than the back. Sometimes sweaters will have too much fabric in the back, and so she, on her sheep camp, shifted the sleeves back a little bit. And I did the same. So when I split for sleeves, I put, I believe, 8 or 12 stitches more in the front. So either 2 or 3 inches more fabric in the front than in the back. Which I like looking at it like this. The back fits great. And then there's too much in the front. So I don't know. I definitely, like, when I look at myself, because my shoulders are kind of forward, I feel like I'm kind of even in the front and in the back, but it was something I wanted to try, and now the back fits in a great way, so that's good. But yeah, there's still maybe a bit too much here, but I should have sized down, but I was not going to restart for a second. I wasn't going to second restart, no. So that was the next mod. Geesh, I could be talking about this for hours. The other things that I did were, I just didn't even follow the sleeve instructions. Actually, past the yoke, I just figured out the body and sleeve numbers myself. I was kind of comparing to my Miserina sweater, which I've shown in the past. It's like my white sweater with the black flowers, which I really like the fit of, but also this winter I was finding I wasn't reaching for it because the I feel like the yoke depth is a bit small, like it was feeling tight, but I'm always changing size, and I think this is somewhere where I notice it a lot. So whatever, I think maybe it fits better now than when I was trying it earlier in the summer. I don't know. So I did want to make sure the yoke was a bit deeper, because I don't like that feeling of it like being tight in the armpit. So there is like I think I knit the yoke to about 12 inches from like here, because I didn't have the collar yet, to down here. And I think that worked out well. I mean, I'll see with time. Yeah, I mean, this is the longest I've worn it, so I'm just getting to know it. And yeah, so I calculated my own body numbers, because I did at that point have like my gauge, which was not what I thought it was. Anyways, I allocated the body and the sleeve stitches in the way that I wanted. I didn't follow any of the directions for the sleeve shaping. I did a bit of decreasing, and then I just knit, which in retrospect I wouldn't have done. Like, it could have been wider here. Yeah, were I to do it again, I think I would just knit them straight. I don't even know how many decreases I did. Can you tell? 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like 4 to me. 4 sets of decreases. And then I just knit straight. And I did a bit of decreasing in the last round, and then did the ribbing. And I knit the sleeves 2 at a time. As far as the body goes, I also did some waist shaping, which I also didn't plan out very well. I was really like trying to finish this, and I was really feeling kind of mad about having to restart, and just mad that like none of my sweaters were feeling like fun to work on. So yeah, some of these decisions were like not super well thought out, but in the end I'm happy with the sleeves and the body. So I did do some decreases. Oh, you can't really see. I think I did, yeah, you can see them there. I think I decreased every 2 inches 5 times on both sides. And had I had more forethought, I would have for one, I would have more equally distributed those decreases because, as you can see, maybe there's a chunk. I just like knit straight for a chunk. So maybe I would have more evenly distributed those or started them a little lower. I don't know. But I think it's fine. I don't think you can tell. Like, I mean, maybe if I do this, you can see. But ultimately, I think it's okay. Ah, God, what else? Is that everything? One thing that was good about restarting was that I changed the way I used the handspun. So maybe I'll put a picture from the last episode of what the yoke looked like. But as you can see with this, with sort of how the color changed through the skein, when I had started it last time, I started with this end of the skein, which is very like yellow, and that yellow was like right up by my face, and then it got like darker, and I didn't love that. I preferred this kind of like muddy, purpley, like there's some blue in there, and a lot of green. I preferred this end of the skein, and because it was at the bottom where the rows were, where the rounds were the longest, it was, I don't know, just wasn't having that much impact down there. Or, I don't know, there was just less of the part that I liked. And I talked about this before I started it. This is a skein of also handspun, but just a color that I made to kind of supplement this because I didn't think that I'd have enough, and I did not. So when I did the yoke this time, when I did the yoke the first time, I had striped in this like supplemental color, which was some Northern Lights fiber, which is I think from Louis. Yeah, and you can go back and see previous episodes if you're interested in that. Where was I going? Oh yeah, I had striped it in, and I didn't like love that. So restarting meant that I got to start with the end of the ball that I liked, and I just thought I'd go and see how far I got. And on the last version, I had only done 6 of the triangles, because I was worried about the yoke being too deep, and then I was like, actually, it's not deep enough. So I ended up doing the full 7 triangles here. And then I was like, hopefully I can get to a place before I start the like supplementary color that looks like kind of nice, and it worked out perfectly. I really just have the tiniest ball of this crux fiber left, and I got almost all the way to the bottom, so just the last like 6 rows are in the Northern Lights. And it matches better in some places than others, but I also just think the effect is nice and good. And so I'm much more happy with the color work. So, poof, yeah, that's this sweater. So yeah, it's done. Whew, it felt like a marathon. And that's all my notes. So I'm excited. There's definitely like, it just finished blocking this morning, and it dried overnight, which is nice. There's definitely like a thing so I blocked it, and it had like a pretty significant like fold here at the sides, that was doing like, it was kind of giving me like huge shoulders. But now that I'm wearing it, I think it's like, I steamed it out, and it's also chilling out a bit, but sometimes it feels a bit, sorry, I'm looking in the mirror. There's like a certain stiffness to this that, I don't know. I'll probably get used to it, and with wear, it'll like relax a bit. yeah. So I'm definitely, doesn't make me particularly love circular yokes, which is funny because that's like all I have that I'm working on, or at least I started and have put aside. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna revise some of that, I think. But ultimately, it turned out really well, and I'm happy about it. Yeah, I just think circular is not my favorite fit. I'll probably end up, doing this. And I do think I'll get wear out of this, so that's good. That's good. I'm just gonna take a break for. Okay, so I told myself I had an hour to do this. It's already been 45 minutes, but maybe I'm gonna show you my sewing next. Yeah, and then I'll see how I feel. So yeah, I'll show you these shorts I'm wearing. They're shorts. Surprise. Ta-da. Yeah, these are very heavily modified glebe pants from Muna and Broad. So I had made the glebe pants last fall, probably a bit over a year ago, and didn't like them. Yeah, I really like Moon and Broad and everything they do, but I don't always find that their fit is what I want it to be. Yeah, anyways. So when I went to make these shorts, I bought this fabric at my job, and it's Essex, which is a linen cotton blend from Robert Kaufman in the Gingham, black and white. And when I went to make the shorts, I had a vision of what I wanted, which was just big short. And so because I had semi-recent, I don't know, for some reason the pattern was still around. So I pulled it out and I modified that pattern to be more the fit that I wanted. And I did make a toile of these shorts before I used the Robert Kaufman, so I had proof of concept of all the mods I made. So I won't go into too much detail about what I did, but one thing I found talking to you like this, one thing I didn't like about the Moon and Broad glebe pants when I made them was that the crotch was too low. So I did take rise out of the front and back. So I shortened the pants, and I think I took more rise out of the back because generally I like more in the front. But I also kind of scooped out some rise at the sides. So my pattern piece for the front was a bit like this is the center front, and it kind of went, there's a dip at the side. Because they were kind of doing this, and I wanted them to do this. So I don't know if that was just something I don't know, improvised, and it seemed to work. So yeah. There's something visually funny happening here in my butt. And the like gingham gathers. Maybe it's just on the screen. It looks funny. Anyways, yeah. So that's those. And I wore these a lot this summer. Really happy with them. Really happy with the modifications. I always intended to like tack the elastic down, like do a couple lines of stitching, and I just never. Sometimes I finish something and I'm like, oh, I'll tack the elastic down, and then I just wear them for a while, and it's been kind of fine. Like it does fold a bit, but it's been all right. And now I'm wondering if I did tack it down, if it would be too loose, maybe, because that does always loosen the elastic. So yeah, these were. I usually go into the summer being like, I have to make all this stuff, but I made these and like the other thing I'll show you, and I was kind of like, oh, I'm kind of good. But I could see making more of this modified shorts pattern in the future. And I think going forward, it's good to have, because I will probably compare any like future pants pattern that I make, like similar like elastic waist pattern, to this modified pattern, to see if things fall at a similar place, because that is how I like things to fall. Yeah, and it's a bit like not ideal in gingham, because you can see how there's more fabric here, like this like extra stripe of gingham at the top, and then you can see. Yeah, there's, I don't know. It's just on the very front. You can kind of see. Well, it's gonna be annoying to edit because I didn't really say anything. So the other thing I made this summer is here. I made this dress. And I'll put it on for you. 1 second. So yeah, this was the other thing I sewed this summer, and it's called the Evergreen dress. It's patterned by Les Perlin, and she is a Montreal-based pattern designer, I believe. And it's really cute. I made it out of an old sheet, which actually was just like, I think it was my studio mate's, and I'm pretty sure she said she didn't want it. I had a moment when I was cutting it up where I was like, I think she didn't want this. But I hope she hasn't said anything about it being missing. It was just like in the studio on a shelf. And it's just that like nice, like lived in sheet feeling. There is like I can't remember where it is. I tried to cut around like there were some like holes and stains and stuff in the fabric because it is just an old sheet. But I did miss a hole, but I can't remember where it is now. So, yeah. So, yeah, I made this dress, and I do really like it. There are some things I'm not sure about the fit. Like sometimes, I don't know. It's funny because it like looks quite oversized. Like the top looks, I think, like roomy and oversized, and then I like feel like the back is tight, and maybe that's something I need to learn how to make adjustments for, because of my big shoulders. I guess I have big shoulders, so I don't know, it's tricky. I definitely haven't worn this too much, but I've worn it enough. And yeah, I kept like the existing hem of the sheet. It's nice. I'm not like, I don't know, necessarily itching to make another version of this dress, but I might someday. Just looking at my gathering, it's like not super good. That's okay. I think I did it in I just feel like I could have distributed the gathers a little bit better. The only other thing I don't like about this is, and it's not the pattern's fault or the dress's fault, I just tend to wear the same bra all the time, and it doesn't, I don't have words anymore. Just it shows, and I don't like when that happens. So I'm always trying to like go like this and pull it up, but it inevitably will like start drooping down and show. So that's annoying. I need to find, there's like, this is the only bra in the world that I feel comfortable in. And yeah, I just wish I had one that came down further, so that it didn't show. So I think sometimes that is why I don't wear it, because that is a kind of detail that would like really bug me. So yeah, this was my other sewing project. My hour is almost up. What do I want to show you next? Okay, I have like a sewing whip. Do I feel like showing this? I'm not sure. I've talked before about how it's like harder to show a sewing whip than, I don't know, it's just like, because it looks so like nothing. But I am working on a sort of more complicated, I mean, yes, very much more complicated project. And the pattern is called the Garden Dress, and it's by Frux Studio. And this is the back panel. So it's like a completely pin tucked dress. I'm making it with this, also from my job at the fabric store, this gingham, which is giving it like a cool effect with the pin tucks, where like, I don't know, it's just sort of fading in and out from gray to the teal. I generally like don't really like teal, but I feel like this is gonna look good on me. Like something about the gray sort of like modifies the teal to be a blue, in a way. So here, I'll show you closer. So yeah, that's all the pin tucking. I just finished, this is like the slit at the back. And I'm hoping to finish this. I would like to wear this at Rhinebeck also. So it's gonna be like a, I don't know where it's gonna fall on me quite yet. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to show you. This is why I don't usually show sewing whips, but it's just like a big project, so I thought that I would. But I really like how the pin tucking is working and how it flows into the skirt. The modifications I've made so far to this pattern, I will say it's a very expensive pattern. And when I first bought it, I was like, that's so weird. Why is it so expensive? And then I bought it anyways. And then I looked at it and I was like, oh, this is very involved. Which is funny because I feel like I'm putting so much more effort into this than I did into the dress I wore to, I mean, I put a lot of effort into that, but it's more technically complicated than the dress that I wore to the wedding in May, and so it just feels like funny to be putting all this work into something that's not like for an event. But anyways, I'm deciding it's for Rhinebeck, so there, now we're good. Yeah, so the modifications I made were, it's quite a floor length, or at least like ankle length dress, and I wanted it to be a bit shorter, so I've taken like 7 inches off the hem. I'm a bit afraid that was too much, but we'll see. And also I made a mistake. Yeah, I was supposed to, and I even read this in the instructions. So these were like big wide panels that were then pin tucked down, so you can see like the full width in the skirt. So I pin tucked them down, but what I was supposed to do was not cut like the armscye right away. Like you were supposed to cut the big wide panel with like a bit of extra, pin tuck it down, and then make sure it's the right width, and then cut out the armscye. And I had read those instructions and then forgotten, and just was like, I want to get started. And so I cut the panels out with the armscye. So after I pin tucked, my panels were a bit, the first panel I did was a bit narrow. And so what I did was just I took out one pin tuck, which actually, like, you can kind of see the holes in the fabric, which I'm hoping, like, with time they'll heal. But even if they don't, it's just the back. It's fine. No one's going to notice. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that because I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be cool. I want to wear it at Rhinebeck. It is going to be entirely French seamed, which is what the pattern is written for. And I had a moment of being like, I don't need to do that. It's fine. And then, of course, my, like, silly little brain was like, but what if you did? But what if you did French seam the whole thing? See, there's something about the shoulders of this dress that I don't like. I think they just hit me right at the wrong spot, possibly. I don't know. Yeah, so just wanted to show you that. This fabric is really nice. It's from work. It's like a really nice, it's like a shirting cotton made in Italy, I'm pretty sure. So you can see these, like, this is the inside. You know, it's not exactly the same, the way this, like, pattern is flowing, but I don't think you notice it as much on the outside. Otherwise, I'm, like, pretty happy with how things are lining up. You can see the seam down the middle. It's not like, it's kind of annoying that I have that like line of gray, but at least it's like even. Yeah, so that's what I'm excited about at the moment. And what I feel like working on today, which I think I might do. We'll see. The next step is to do all the tucks on the front panel, which is going to take a while. So, yeah, and then it'll just be assembling. And honestly, the tucks didn't take that, like, I mean, drawing them out took a minute. And I'm using one of those friction pens that, you know, they have like, it's like a pen, but it has an eraser, which when you use it, the heat of the friction erases the pen. And I will say it's left some like white spots. So because it's the heat of the friction that erases the pen, you can also just like run your iron over it, which should in theory erase the pen. But I think what it does is actually makes the pen white, because I have, now I can't see them, but I have like some white spots. I don't know if you can see that at all. No, I think it's like too subtle. I'm noticing some like white spots where there was more ink in the fabric. Oh, maybe here. Like right. No, you can't. There's no way. I'm done trying. But, and I just noticed that this morning or last night. And I got worried, but I did a little test and I'm pretty sure it'll wash out. And even if it does, I don't think it's going to be that visible. And I truly don't. I don't have anything else that would work. So, yeah. So yeah, marking the pleats or the pin tucks takes a little while, but I think I sewed up like one of these panels, so like half of the back, in like under an hour, or maybe just over an hour last night. So it's not like crazy. It's just French seaming everything. Will be like a bit annoying, but it's also like so satisfying. So yeah, anyways, that's that. That's the main sewing thing I'm working on. I have some like pants plans because I'm due for some new pants. But I'll show you those as they occur, as the pants occur. And yeah, well, I guess this is stitching, so it is sewing. When I was kind of in a knitting slump, so these are my whips now, more whip time. This is not knitting, but yeah, when I was in kind of a slump this summer, I thought maybe I'll do something different, pick up a different craft. And I have been watching a lot of Amy Beth of the Fat Squirrel Speaks. Recently, I've just find her podcast really comforting. So I've watched a lot of back episodes and stuff. So, and she does a lot of cross stitch, and I haven't cross stitched in a really long time. So I thought I would do one. And I had seen the patterns from, I think they're called Owl Forest patterns going around, and I really liked a lot of their patterns. So I went looking for one of theirs that I would like to do, and a lot of them are quite complicated, and the kits are quite expensive, and as they should be, because they are often using hand-dyed thread, and often I think silk thread maybe. Anyways, I went back and forth on buying a kit, but I wanted to just start something right then and there. And I do own a lot of embroidery floss, a whole bin. My camera's sitting on it. So I I went through my stash of threads. I have a lot of Anchor and DMC just that I've collected over the years. So I went through every pattern that they have, and picked, I wanted something samplery, and anyways, I picked this one, which I'll put a picture of. It's called chestnut or something. It's a chestnut tree. And I have made some progress on it. So yeah, I just sort of vaguely matched the thread colors from the original pattern. And I had this Aida cloth just lying around. I know a lot of patterns are written now for linen, but I've only ever stitched on Aida cloth. And I just had this, but it was too white, and I knew that the white, there's some white in the chestnut flowers. It's kind of getting washed out there, but I knew that I wanted that to show up, so I just tea dyed this very quickly. It was funny because I just was feeling impulsive, wanting to start a new project, and I just immediately tea dyed this, and then put it in front of a fan, and it dried really fast. And so yeah, so I like that it has a bit of a variation to it. It's kind of fun. I did make a mistake when I was trying to center this on the fabric, because again, I was rushing to just do something new and fun, so it's not in the middle of the fabric, but that's okay. It's too far down, but I calculated and there's enough room. So yeah, that's another whip. I will say the back, I know the back is supposed to be nice, but it's not. That's okay, I don't care. Really not nice. That's probably, sorry to any cross stitchers out there who that may have offended, but I haven't done this in years. I think the last time I committed to a cross stitch was probably, there was some cross stitch in my final show for my undergrad. So 2013, 11 years ago. So yeah, that's that. I also recently painted my room. Maybe I'll put a picture. That's a craft that I did. I painted my room. And I just feel like this would look nice in it. So hopefully I can make some progress on that eventually. It doesn't need to be finished ever. I've been putting it in this little strawberry basket. Oh, I don't know why I think that's cute. And the last thing I'll show you is a whip that I think I also started in April and I've never shown to you, so sorry. I don't know why. I think it has always like kind of been sort of languishing at times when I recorded. And now it's kind of doing so again because I'm not sure about it. I mean, it is quite beautiful, but there are things that I'm unhappy with, partly because it's another circular yoke. So it's all crumpled, sorry, but this is the Azor by Orlan Suk. And I've been working on this off and on since April. And I'm just working on the body now, but I think the body is too big. I think it's too big. And I think the sleeves are too small. I'll just try it on for you. I don't know. Okay, so here it is on. And I like the yoke. The yoke, to me, looks good. So I should say, this is the Azor pattern. I'm knitting it in, I wrote it down. The main color is West Country 4-ply from Viola, which I had bought myself for my birthday maybe last year, and then cast on around my birthday this year. And the contrast color is Whistleberry Cheviot Marsh, and I forget the color name, but it's like a very pale pink. And yeah, I think it looks good mainly, but then like maybe too big, like maybe not too big. I think what I wish, whoa. I don't know, I'm torn, but I also worry that the sleeves will be too small. I think they're supposed to be a bit fitted. I don't know. I just can't make up my mind. I just feel like for a while nothing's been like totally working how I want it to. Yeah, I mean, maybe I need to block it and decide. But I think the colors are nice. The pattern is lovely. And I really like how the hand-dyed yarn is knitting up. I mean, they're both hand-dyed, but you can't really see the variation in the contrast color as much as in this main color. I'm not like alternating skeins or anything. I kind of am like, what's like, don't you want to see those variations? Isn't that kind of the point of hand-dyed yarn? So I'm okay if there's like some pooling or whatever. Yeah, modifications that I've made. I think I accidentally cast on the wrong number of stitches, and I'm again between sizes. Because when I went to split for body and sleeves, I was like, there's 11 extra stitches here or something, if I'm remembering correctly, which was like the width of one motif, I think. And another thing that I ended up changing was the bottom of the chart. And this was something I didn't realize when I first cast on, but the chart is different for the small sizes and the large sizes, and I don't like the large size chart as much, which is very annoying and frustrating. So there are a couple things that are different in order to give the yoke, like the colorwork section, more depth. So one thing is that these little shapes are much more pronounced, like they're bigger on the larger sizes. And as you can see, like that really changes what it looks like. Like it's just kind of very much a focal point in a way that it isn't on the smaller sizes. Here, I'll put a picture of the sample. And then another thing I didn't notice was that in order to give more depth to the yoke, there were these weird shapes at the bottom. And one thing that I liked about the original sample was how the chart ended in these points. And I think that that is like a very distinctive part of what it looked like, of what the sample looked like. But on the larger sizes, there is this weird blob, like such an amorphous shape that kind of looks like an arrow. I don't know. I understand why it's there, but it really changes the whole look of the thing. And I was like, I do not want to knit that. And so I played around with a bunch of different ideas, like drawing it out, trying to figure out how to extend the chart by the same amount of rows without doing that blob. And there aren't that many project pages on Ravelry that have like completed the chart with that like shape at the bottom, so it was hard. Anyways, I just was like mad that that was the case. And in the end, what I decided to do was make them look like flowers, which doesn't preserve that shape of the color work that I liked, but it was the only solution that I liked. So I added this like stem and these like little leaves that I just charted out for myself, which makes, it adds just like that extra depth to make it like kind of proportional. But it is like, it means that the yoke ends in this like more solid sort of motif, which is fine, but it's not what I liked about the yoke. So that was frustrating, but I think I like my solution and it's fine and it'll be nice. So yeah, this is the Azor. I don't know when it'll get finished. I guess it's maybe my next priority, though I have something else I'm kind of working on and not ready to show yet. Yeah. Oh, the other thing I modified was the collar, which I just like thought it was in 1x1 rib, but it's not written to be 1x1 rib in the pattern. I think it's like 2x1 rib. So yeah, I don't know. Now it's too late. I've done it. I'm not going to undo it, but yeah. So that's the Azor. I guess I was really like excited about it and into it. And now it's just been, I haven't worked on it in a while. For ages, I was just working on it during therapy. My therapy sweater. Yeah, I wish I'd done some waist shaping, because it's just really wide. I don't know. So I need to think about whether I rip back. Possibly I rip back and add more, like separate everything, add more stitches to the sleeves, and also do a bit of waist shaping when I do it again. It's just that was like a lot of stock in it, but it's fine. It's better if it is something that I like. So this is like circular yoke sweater number 2, and then there's also the wool and honey that I haven't shown in a while, that I started in the fall and was really excited about, but I think it might get frogged because it's, again, the yoke is too big. But I haven't looked at that in ages because it was pissing me off. So yeah, that's all the stuff I've been working on. This is quite long. Hopefully I can edit it down a bit. Thank you for watching. I hope that was interesting. Let me know what you're working on. And I think I'll be able to record before Rhinebeck. I'm assuming, hopefully this won't be the last time you see me before Rhinebeck. Yeah, we'll see. Even if it's just a little check-in. Yeah. I hope you're having a nice start to fall. And I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye.